Hi, everyone. I am just giving a few moments for everyone to join us. We have some stragglers coming in, being that it just opened. So bear with us. We'll probably get started around 4:02, 4:03. Alrighty, just to ensure we are being respectful and mindful of everyone's time, we are going to go ahead and get started. Um, I'm thinking some people are going to be straggling in here, being that it started at 4. So usually around 4:05, 4:10 is when people remember, oh yeah, I have that CASL conversation I wanted to go to. So I do want to thank everyone for being here. My name is Morgan Yunker. I am the Retention and Outreach Manager for the College of Arts, Sciences, and Letters. For those of you who have never been part of one of our CASL conversations, the idea behind these was really just to bring folks together, have some conversations that you might have when we were on campus, but now that we're in this remote setting, we're trying to continue those conversations, keep you updated as students on events that are taking place, if we have any new programs, like majors, minors, certificates, so on and so forth. We want you to be able to meet and see faculty, see their faces, get to know them a little bit. So we always have faculty joining us and telling us a little bit about what they teach and what they do. We also hear from our dean, Martin Hershak. He shares some updates with you, maybe just some information, and some other things kind of thrown in the mix. So please share this with your friends. Let them know that these are happening. We're really trying to create kind of that sense of community for our students. So bear that in mind as we go through these. And if you have any questions, please use the Q&A box. It's a chat function in the bar below. You can ask us anything if it relates to what we're talking about, or if it's something you personally would like to know, and somebody can certainly answer that for you as we move on. So without further ado, I do want to share with you what the agenda is looking like. So as you can see, we're going to hear from our dean, Martin Hershak. I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the upcoming events that we have related to CASL. And then we're going to have some really great conversations with some of our faculty members from different programs and department across the college. And then we will have time to answer some of those questions a little bit later. So without further ado, I will introduce our dean, Martin Hershak.
Thank you, Morgan. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Hope you're all well and that your classes are going as smoothly as they possibly can in this particular environment in which we find ourselves. So I'm just going to spend a few minutes with you today talking about some things that I've been thinking about, and then I will hand things back over to Morgan. One of the things that I am regularly asked by students, and particularly by their parents, is what is the importance or the relevance of our faculty being engaged in research? We talk a lot about being teacher scholars on our campus, or scholar teachers, depending on who you might ask. And I think it's a really important thing to be thinking about relative to the strength of U of M-Dearborn and what makes it a particularly special and unique place. I think there are lots of universities and colleges to choose from. And as I tell people all the time, there are some major differences between many of those universities and our own. Places like Ann Arbor, the emphasis is exclusively on research. Faculty are promoted primarily on the basis of the research that they do. That's what their reputations are really built upon. Those faculty do not necessarily teach lots of classes. They're really looking to be more engaged in the research and in grant writing and the like. Then there are other schools that are completely teaching focused. Right, the faculty there do little in the way of research, and they're not expected to. Their primary mission is to teach courses for the students attending that college or university. We have the best of both worlds here, and I think that's one of the things that makes us particularly unique, and I think that's one of the things that actually makes your educational experience a particularly rewarding one. Because it's one thing to have someone in front of a classroom teaching about something that they've read about. In some cases, maybe they read about it many years ago, but we all know that research in various fields moves on. The literature continues to evolve, and that new findings are always in the mix. And it may be the case that these people who are teaching these courses are reading about these new discoveries and teaching about them as well. But what makes our university unique and what makes our faculty particularly, I think, wonderful is the fact that they are actively engaged in research. So they're not just teaching about things that they learned about or read about, they're teaching about things that they are actively involved in. They're teaching about disciplines that they're moving forward through their own research. That's a really powerful mix. And because of that, our students are exposed to, I think, the very best, the most cutting edge information in the classroom. And because of that, because our faculty are active researchers, our students are also provided with incredible opportunities to partner with faculty on research projects as well. Many of these projects are related to the research that their faculty members may be engaged in, but sometimes it may be a research project that a student's interested in that a faculty will help to guide as well. Those are incredible experiences, and those are things that you should definitely take the time to seek out as a student here at the University of Michigan-Dearborn. I'll just throw out one quick statistic. Over the last 8 years, I think it's 8 years, if not it's 10, nonetheless, it's a fairly extensive amount of time. The natural sciences department alone has had on average just under 18 of its undergraduate students show up as co-authors on faculty publications that are generated by research in that department. That's really amazing, to have your name attached to a published piece of work as an undergrad, and then to be able to talk about the experience of helping to formulate and conduct that research and to sift through the data that you have, the outcomes, and to participate in writing that product. That's something you're not going to find at a lot of places. And it's something we very much value here, along with other sorts of co-curricular activities, internships and co-ops, participation in study abroad. Those are all things that dramatically enrich your experience as a student and that give you opportunities to take sort of the theoretical things that you're learning in the classroom and to apply them to real world settings and to figure out how those things work in the real world. So I think you've chosen well in terms of coming here. I hope that your experience as a student here has been a particularly rewarding one, and I hope that you've been able to participate in some of these research opportunities. And if you haven't, if you're maybe a newer student or just starting out in your field of study, by all means, speak to your faculty about research opportunities. They exist in every discipline across the board, and you should take full advantage of that. There are resources that are available to help students to engage in that research. So I'm going to stop there because Morgan's going to pull out the big hook in a minute if I don't. But before I leave, it's incumbent upon me to remind all of you to make sure that you take the time to get out and vote if you haven't already done so. Right? This election, like every election, is extremely important. And the University of Michigan-Dearborn prides itself on the high voter participation that we have within our community. So it's really important, no matter who you're voting for, that you get out there and that you cast your ballot, that you perform your responsibility as a citizen of the state of Michigan and of the United States of America. So get out and vote. And with that, I'm going to turn things back to Morgan.
Great, thanks so much, Marty. Yeah, voting is definitely something that we really encourage everyone to do. I know I've already voted, turned in my ballot. So certainly if you haven't turned in your ballot and you have one at your house, definitely make sure you get that to wherever it needs to go, or get yourself to the polls next Tuesday. So with that, I do want to talk about a few upcoming events. These are actually university related outside of being nationally events, but tonight, if any of you are interested in what you can do after your undergraduate years here at UM-Dearborn, we are hosting our graduate virtual open house from 6 until 7, and you can find the link to that on the UM-Dearborn.edu events webpage. Just log in using your student information. We also have Take Back the Night, which is happening tonight. And I am not going to say too much about it because we have a very special faculty member who is going to share with you all the details about that particular event. Tomorrow, we have our CASL Faculty Research Slam. So if you are looking for those research opportunities that Dean Hershak was talking about, you can certainly learn about what types of research our faculty are doing. That is tomorrow from 9 a.m. until 11 a.m. Coming up next Thursday is the Writing Awards celebration. So if any of you were nominated for a writing award, certainly you can attend that, or if you have any friends that you know were nominated, make sure that you are taking advantage and going to support them at those particular awards. We also have a panel discussion, Can Mathematics Be Anti-Racist? So this is a discussion about how students studying mathematics, social justice issues that we might have, if students are falling behind based off of race, based off of the schools they attend, the opportunities and things like that. So if that's something that seems interesting to you, certainly check that out. And then for anybody on here who is a first gen student and you're looking to find out a little bit more or hear from people who were first gens or different resource that we have for first gen students, there is a panel the following Monday, so 2 weeks, from 5 until 6, and it's actually a faculty panel where they're going to be sharing some insights about first generation college students and how they are here to help you. So those are some of our upcoming events. Again, you can find any of these on umdearborn.edu/events and register for them to get the links for those particular events. So with that, I am going to actually turn it over to our wonderful faculty members who are going to talk to you a little bit about several different programs. And I'm going to start off with Sally Howell.
Hi, everybody. It's good to be talking to you. I'm not the person mentioned on the slide, Georgina Hickey. She's the chair of our department, but she's in a place with no Wi-Fi right now. So I'm here representing the department. I'm a professor of history, and our department is very diverse. It's one of the largest and most diverse departments on the campus. We have majors and minors in the field of economics, of political science, of history, urban and regional studies, and social sciences. We also are home to the Institute for Local Government, and we offer a minor in community change studies, and also in geography. So this is just we cover the world. We also offer minors in Middle East studies and all sorts of secondary and tertiary fields. Our department also has a lot of opportunity, as the dean mentioned, for students to work and collaborate with faculty in terms of their research. There's just so many student researchers working in our department on a whole variety of things, from the economic development of Detroit to looking into the history of local architecture in Dearborn, all sorts of things. We also are really well known for the study abroad programs that our faculty have created, in particular a study abroad program that we have in Poland, and with really engaged, active internship programs that we have. For example, the one that we do in Ottawa every summer. So this is, we just sort of cover the map as a department in terms of the diversity of opportunities that we make available. And being home to to our campus's political science faculty, I can say that we also very much support the message that the dean has put out today for people to vote. And I actually ran out of the room and tried to get my I voted sticker to put on my chest here, but I wasn't able to find it. I guess there's very little need for it when we're voting for home as we are today. But anyway, Morgan, would you forward to the next slide? So I am also, in addition to being a historian, I'm the director of the Center for Arab American Studies. And the center offers a minor in Arab American Studies and a certificate in Arab American Studies, and we offer lots of internships. I want to encourage everyone to follow or like the center on Facebook. Just today, I posted an announcement about virtual internship opportunity with an organization in Washington, D.C. But we have a lot of students who have worked for the Arab American Museum. They've worked for Access. They've worked for the Detroit Historical Society, all sorts of local institutions. So we've been very proactive about getting people internships. And in terms of being one of the programs on campus that really connects research to the classroom, I think that we really do a good job of that in the center. Right now, I'm teaching a class where students are doing research in Dearborn. They're doing this oral history project. The end result of their research will be to create a museum exhibit that's going to be shown in Detroit and in Ann Arbor. Hopefully this summer, if we're allowed to have museum exhibits in the summer of 2021. But we've worked a lot with students. I'm editing a book right now that includes contributions by 4 students and former students, and then a second book that has 4 different articles in it in which the faculty are collaborating with students on the writing of those articles. So just to sort of reinforce some of the things that Dean Hershok said. And so a lot of people ask me, like, what's the value of getting a minor in Arab American Studies, or getting a certificate in Arab American Studies? Or some students are like, well, I'm an Arab, I don't need this degree. But I think that our intention with these certificates is to really help people be very, very informed about the history and all of the political and cultural and social dynamics that surround Arab American identity, and to really empower people to have the tools and the resources to know where to look, to find out things that they don't already know, to sort of understand how to do research on their own, and then how to interpret their findings in a way that is relevant for the larger society. So I like to think if you want to be a doctor and work in the Arab American community, then having a certificate is just, something that's going to empower you a little bit further in your work, make you look more attractive to employers. If you want to run for public office, then you'll really have a lot of background information on other people who have run for office before you, and so on and so forth. So we think that the minor and the certificate are a great opportunity. And again, we do a lot of engaged teaching and learning on the campus, and I invite all of you to join us. And so now my job is to introduce Lisa Martin, who's the director of the Women and Gender Studies program.
Great, thanks, Sally. I'm Lisa Martin, as Sally said, and I am the director of our Women's and Gender Studies program, what we commonly refer to on our campus as WGST. So I'm really excited to spend some time with you this afternoon talking about our program. Many of you have probably taken a WGST cross-listed course, but maybe you didn't realize that we also have a major, a minor, and a certificate program in LGBTQ plus studies. Our faculty teach courses all across campus in a number of fields, including history, sociology, anthropology, health, economics, psychology, journalism and screen studies, writing, English, the foreign languages, even nat sci and engineering. Many students find women's and gender studies to be a really great second major. You can find classes that cross-list with just about every discipline in the college and other colleges. This means that whatever you're interested in majoring in, there's probably a women's and gender studies class that can enhance your studies. When you think about it, no matter what your life after college, every profession and every field is going to have a diverse workforce, and knowing about gender equity and social justice are necessary components for today's working environments and learning environments. Many of our courses also fulfill DDC requirements, so it's a great way to kind of get your Dearborn Discovery Core requirements completed while also learning about a field of specialization like women's and gender studies. For much of history, women's stories and experiences have been left out of the narrative. So some of the things that we do in women's and gender studies is examine the ways that gender, through its connections and intersections with other forms of power and identity, including race, class, sexuality, and nation, can shape people's lives, bodies, our social institutions, and individuals' opportunities. Women's and gender studies isn't just a field of knowledge production, but is also one that's built on the concept of praxis. And praxis means putting theory into practice. So students in women's and gender studies develop and apply their analytical and critical thinking skills to solving today's biggest problems, from gender inequity in STEM fields to writing, telling, and producing women's stories in the arts, including film and television, to pay inequity in all fields, to changing social policy to support working women, changing and having national conversations around changing gender norms and recognizing gender diversity and identities. Our students go on to work in a variety of fields and graduate programs, including business, nonprofits, education, healthcare, politics, law, social work, and other social justice organizations. Then, as Morgan alluded to a little earlier, I do want to give a special plug to Take Back the Night. So Take Back the Night is an annual event on our campus that brings us together to raise awareness and education about, but also collective action to end sexual assault. And the Women in Learning and Leadership program is a really unique program housed under Women's and Gender Studies that is both a student organization and includes core coursework in WGST. And the WIL students plan Take Back the Night. So while this year we can't do our usual campus march and gathering, the WIL program has organized an amazing virtual program for us, including a panel of speakers and some special guest messages from Governor Gretchen Whitmer and Senator Debbie Stabenow that I think you'd really appreciate hearing. So I'm going to throw the link to the event in the Q&A in case you're interested. And if anybody wants to learn more about women's and gender studies, you can always reach out to me. I'll also throw my email in the Q&A. And I have to say, okay, good. I was going to say I didn't memorize who I was going to introduce next. So thank you, Morgan, for advancing the slides. And now it's my pleasure to turn over to Dr. Ivy Forsyth Brown to talk to you about African and African American studies.
Okay, hold on, everyone, please. I'm having some technical difficulties. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm here, but I can't seem to get my screen to show me, which is just crazy right now. So Morgan, can you come back to me?
Sure thing, no problem.
Because I cannot make it work. Okay,
Don't
thank you.
worry. So I will introduce then our department chair, Dr. Jonathan Smith, to talk to you a little bit about behavioral sciences.
Right. Thank you, Morgan. Hi, everyone. I'm Jonathan Smith. I'm the chair of the Behavioral Sciences Department. There are 4 programs in behavioral sciences, and what they all have in common is the study of human beings, either as individuals or in groups. In anthropology, our program there covers the 4 areas or fields of anthropology: cultural, biological, linguistic, and the archaeological. So all those different aspects of the study of human cultures, including a scientific aspect, which people who aren't familiar with anthropology are sometimes surprised by. Anthropology also supports through a scholarship program that's funded by a donor, support for students to go to field schools in the summer. Obviously, we didn't get to do that this past summer, and next summer is looking a little dicey, I think, but that will return at some point, and it's a fabulous opportunity to go to other places around the country or around the world to engage in anthropological fieldwork. Anthropology is one of the largest majors in CASL. It has well over 400 majors. And there is an online major coming soon from psychology. You may not be particularly eager at the moment to do a major online, or maybe your view of it is that you're doing a major online, but that will become an official option in psychology in about a year's time. The psychology program also covers the major areas of that field: developmental psych, biological psych, clinical psych, cognitive psych, and social organizational psych. So psych, like anthropology, is an incredibly diverse and wide-ranging field. The psychologists also have a thriving internship program with placements for folks in various aspects of psychology. And they have a very long-standing honors program for students who want to sink their teeth a little deeper into the field and to conduct an extended research project being mentored by a faculty member. I too would echo Dean Hershak's promotion of research opportunities for students and the ability to work closely with faculty members on independent or mentored research. We send lots of students every year to conferences to present work. We have them publishing with their faculty mentors. And those folks generally do really well in their job and career and postgraduate prospects as a result of that. In sociology, we have also an online major coming there as well. That'll probably be rolling out in about a year or a little more's time. The sociology major has been revamped in the last few years to create some optional concentrations so that students who major in psychology can kind of give greater coherence and focus to their course of study in the major, depending on what they want to do with that after they graduate. So there's a concentration in applied and community-based research, one in diversity, inequality, and social justice, and one in families, well-being, and social welfare. In addition to that, sociology has its own senior research seminar and a senior research conference where students do some original research and then present that work to their peers and the faculty and anybody else who wants to join in. So again, lots of opportunities for research. And then finally, we have as well an interdisciplinary major in behavioral sciences that combines courses from the three other areas of anthropology, psychology, and sociology. And the behavioral sciences major is really kind of set up to provide a more focused avenue for career preparation for fields like social work or counseling or mental health treatment programs, things where you need a toolkit that's broader than just one of those areas, but encompasses them all. So happy to answer questions later if you have them about any or all of these programs, and stay well, everyone.
Perfect. So I am going to move on to Professor Brian McKenna. He's going to talk to us a little bit about our food studies certificate, and then Ivy, I will bring it back to you after this.
Okay, hello everybody. I'm Dr. Brian McKenna. I'm from the anthropology department, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about the food studies certificate program. My colleague, Dr. Patrick Bouchain, is the director of food studies, but he's unable to be here tonight. So therefore, I, as a colleague and as a member of the food studies program, and filling in for Dr. Bouchain. Now, with only 3 to 5 minutes to talk, I can only give you a taste of the food studies certificate program. So I very much hope that you will investigate it further on the website and in discussions with the faculty members who are part of the program. First, let me tell you what food studies is not. It is not a program in which you'll learn how to cook. And it is not a program for learning how to be the next Food Network star or a famous food blogger. Instead, food studies is an innovative, interdisciplinary academic program in which students investigate and critically evaluate the cultural, biological, and social aspects of food. Obviously, food is important for life and health, but it's also integrally a part of culture, identity, social interactions, economics, politics, medicine, and the environment. This certificate program, which requires 12 credit hours, allows students to explore the interconnections between these diverse areas of study. The 6 core faculty in this program are from the disciplines of anthropology, sociology, political science, biology and biochemistry, women's and gender studies, and economics. Other faculty who teach courses in the food studies program are from the aforementioned disciplines, as well as from environmental studies and health and human services. This is liberal arts education at its best. It's the intersection of different areas of study that allows students to gain a more holistic view, both deeper and a broader understanding of a multifaceted topic. And the topic of food is definitely multifaceted. Courses in the food studies certificate program explore such wide-ranging topics as nutrition, metabolism, and health, obesity across the lifespan, cultural and religious aspects of food, food politics and policy, cross-cultural perspectives on food, health, medicine, and healing, agriculture, the environment and urban food systems, global and gendered perspectives on food, economics, inequality, and food insecurity. The food study certificate is both for undergraduates and post-baccalaureates. For undergraduate, it is a complement to many different majors in the social, behavioral, and natural sciences, as well as all the majors in the University of Michigan-Dearborn's campus-wide programs. For individuals who have already have a bachelor's degree, it's a standalone post-baccalaureate certificate. For all certificate holders, it's an added credential that distinguishes one from other job applicants, highlighting additional academic inquiry and a disciplinary focus. Finally, the Food Studies certificate is highly appropriate for individuals pursuing medical school, and other health-related fields, as well as those interested in graduate school research on food issues. It's also an excellent additional credential for individuals who want to pursue careers in public policy, social justice, education, food production and service, environmental sustainability, mental health, or food nonprofit fields. I look forward to talking further with anyone interested in the Food Studies Certificate Program, and please be sure to explore the program's website for more details as well. The names and email addresses of all core faculty, one of whom is here beside me in Women in Gender Studies, are listed on the website. So feel free to contact any of them for more information. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor McKenna.
Now I'm going to Ivy with African and African American Studies. Ivy, take it away.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you. I apologize for my technical difficulties I had a little bit earlier. So as Brian said, I'm Ivy Forsyth Brown. I'm a sociology professor in the Department of Behavioral Sciences. I'm also the director of the African and African American Studies program, which on campus we call AAAS. The African and African American Studies program is an interdisciplinary program that covers the past and current history, culture, and literature of African descended peoples, but it also addresses other crucial issues facing that population, such as health, education, social justice, and inclusion. And it covers not just the people here in the United States, but it also covers African descended peoples elsewhere across the diaspora, which means Europe, South America, the Caribbean, in sub-Saharan Africa, and elsewhere. The program has a major, minor, and a certificate. It has a gateway course, which is AAAS 300, Introduction to AAAS. It is required that gateway course is a required course for both the major and the minor. And it introduces students to the intellectual debates, historical perspectives, and cultural issues central to the field of African and African American studies. Similar to WGST, the faculty in the African and African American Studies program come from a variety of different disciplines. And that's reflected in our upper division courses, where students can take courses in numerous topics, such as history, which will cover like the African diaspora. It will cover early American history, including slavery and emancipation, to civil rights, to contemporary issues such as the Black Lives Matter movement that we are currently dealing with. Courses also cover art and music and film and literature. We have courses that focus on discrimination, social justice, and equity. We have courses that focus on socioeconomic status and social mobility, on race and the criminal justice system, issues of family, topics of race, ethnicity, and health, religion, spirituality, and education. So it's a wide variety of topics. And students are able to apply what they learn in our AAAS courses to better assist, engage, and address challenging issues in Black communities locally and throughout the world. A AAAS major or minor or certificate, well, particularly the minor and certificate, can be a great addition to majors in psychology, criminology, and criminal justice, any of the pre-med programs, health and human services, and particularly public health, education, sociology, women and gender studies. And just to wrap up briefly, some famous people who majored or minored in African and African American studies are First Lady Michelle Obama, award-winning actress Angela Bassett, astronaut Mae Jemison, and cartoonist, writer, and creator of the Boondocks, Aaron Magruder. So while African American Studies does have a focus on the experiences and culture of African descended people, there are a lot of critical thinking and other skills, reading and writing skills that you're going to develop by taking the courses that can help you in a lot of other occupations. So you don't have to just focus on African American studies. It can be used elsewhere, and it can make a good foundation for going to law school or whatever other career that you may have. So, Morgan?
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. Definitely lots of really great programs and things that maybe you didn't consider studying, but certainly there are opportunities for lots of different majors, minors, and certificates that each of you can study. Now, without further ado, I do want to introduce our professor, Michael McDonald. He's going to tell you about a new program that CASL has.
Hello, everybody. I'm Professor Mike McDonald. I'm really happy to be alongside all these other great programs. I mean, I would really love to just go back and take all of those. But here I'm here to introduce a new major on campus, which is professional writing and rhetoric. If you've taken, which almost everybody has, your introductory comp courses, that is the kind of the foundational entryway to this idea of professional writing and rhetoric. So the good news is, if you're interested in doing more writing, Comp 106 counts towards our major. And that's kind of how we first start to talk to students about writing and what you can do with a career in writing. Writing is kind of weird because everybody has to do it. And what we do in the professional writing and rhetoric major is we do two things. We analyze writing and we produce writing, kind of based off that analysis. So we work on writing in multiple genres for multiple audiences and try to, probably the heart of our major is that students will work with faculty to craft an identity as a writer as they move forward through the degree and onto like a professional life. What's nice is writing always pairs well with a bunch of different majors, minors, and certificates. So having that writing that you can show on your resume that you have put this focus into writing really speaks to, you know, written communication skills that a lot of employers are looking for. One of the things that we like to focus on in the writing major is a really pairing that analytical point of view with that production point of view is a really hands-on way of looking at writing and rhetoric. So we have courses that emphasize service learning, where you'll be working with different community members. We have the Writing Center. We have a really strong connection to the Writing Center. So we try to prepare students to be teachers, to be reviewers of written work while also producing written work. We have different kinds of practicum experiences. We also have classes in technical writing, which before our major were offered to engineers, and now we're opening that up to potential majors, students in the major. We have a business writing course. These are things that will be growing in the future. We also have creative and courses cross-listed with English. We have courses in cross-cultural writing and communication. That's mostly where I teach. So I'll just plug my winter class, which is Comp 462 Transnational Rhetorics, where students will read and write different border crossing narratives. So it's a rhetorical approach to that subject. And then the last thing I want to talk about is we have a great 1-credit writing studio, which is like a writing workshop for academic writing. Students bring their papers from other classes to this small workshop, and they learn to give and receive feedback in a really small group setting. So that's a really core component of our writing major because it's hands-on, but you're also talking about writing in the different disciplines, and it's just a really great course. So you can look for that in the winter as well. That's it. So if there's any questions, I'll be happy to field them later.
Great, thank you so much. And I definitely want to echo what Professor McDonald just said. You know, take advantage of a lot of these different programs. I think so often we get so lost in this mindset of, oh, I know I want to study this, and that's the only thing that we really focus on. But there's so many opportunities and so many subjects that you can study and you can learn about that can help you further your, you know, whatever your career is going to be, you as a person. So really take advantage of all these opportunities. I wish I could go back to school too and study many of these programs because where I went to school at, many of these were available and I didn't take advantage of them. And, you know, once you get older and in your career, you really kick yourself of, oh man, I wish I would have studied that. So definitely take advantage if you have it kind of within your ability to. So right now I would like to invite all of our panelists to go ahead and turn your microphones on, your cameras on. We're just going to do a brief Q&A session here. We only have about 14 minutes. So the first question, I'm just going to throw it out there and then feel free to just unmute yourself and kind of start talking about it if you are comfortable. But the question is, some degree programs require a portfolio. I want to know if all degrees have the same portfolio requirement. For example, will they all want some research paper to be completed depending on the major? Also, where can we access more information about the portfolio requirements? Does anybody want to tackle that one?
I can start.
Please.
But not as AAAS. So I'm answering, I'm answering from sociology. Because sociology did have a portfolio for many years, and we recently got rid of it. But yes, you do have to write a paper. So the senior seminar, you're still writing a comprehensive research paper that is kind of the culmination of everything that you've learned and all of the skills that you've acquired throughout the program, but you just don't have to do the portfolio. So I think it varies from program to program, and the student just needs to make sure they check with their advisor and check with the faculty in their department.
I want to chime in here as a historian. We have kept the portfolio in our program. And the reason that we like it is because we think it offers students an opportunity to reflect over the course of their career on campus on their progress as historians. So, you know, you start off in your second year when you immediately declare your major, you have certain material you have to insert and you have to think about what it means to be a historian. And then over the course of your career, over the course of as your skills develop, yes, for your final project in history, we still have 2 capstone courses that you have to take. And the idea is that, you know, you're really strongly developing your skills. This will really enhance your ability to apply to graduate school. And, you know, at the end, we ask you to reflect on what you've learned as a historian and the skills that you've developed and to share those with other people. So we like the portfolio in history, but every program has a different relationship to portfolios. So I don't know where to go to get, I think each major has information on its website. So if you want to go to the history program, you can find out about this, you know, what a history major requires. But I'm not sure if there's any one place. I think the dean is probably the only person who can answer that question. If there's any one place on campus that answers your question about whether or not there, you know, which majors they are required of. But I say that if you're a student and you look at the portfolio and either you like it or you don't like it, it's not a reason to be intimidated. It's actually a good opportunity for you to think about and plan for your success and to share your success also when you want to use it later in life to apply to graduate school or for a career or anything else.
I'll just quickly say, since you pointed my direction, tagged me, that I am not aware of a one-stop resource other than the advising office. So if you have question about requirements for particular degrees and whether a portfolio is a part of those degree requirements, a quick call to the advising office would be your best bet, and they should be able to provide you with an answer to that, along with being able to point you in the general direction of maybe a website that describes what the portfolio requirement would look like.
Perfect. Thank you all. The next question, Dean Hershak, this is probably geared toward you, but will there be a graduation ceremony happening for this fall?
So December, we will not be having a traditional commencement event on campus. We are in the process of planning for a virtual celebration of commencement. In fact, I think I'm due on campus in 2 weeks to record greetings to the graduates. The plan would then be, if we have a commencement ceremony in the spring, to invite those who were unable to participate in an on-campus event to be participants in that event as well. But I'm not holding out a lot of hope even for a spring commencement at this point. So there won't be anything formal as we've had in the past in the fall in December, but there will definitely be an event that's designed to recognize and celebrate our graduates and all of their accomplishments.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And then our last question, unless we have any more rolling, will next semester be fully online as well? So I don't know if individual faculty want to talk about how their classes are going to be taught. Dean Hershak, if you just want to kind of talk about what the university is kind of going toward.
Yeah, I'll quickly provide an overview of what the winter semester will look like. The plan is for the campus to operate remotely during the months of January and February, and then to have a small number of on-campus classes, mainly in the area of laboratories and senior design, things of that nature, that will start up in March and April. But for the most part, things will be largely online now.
All right, perfect. Well, that concludes our episode, as I like to call them, today. I do want to thank all of our panelists, our faculty members. You all were amazing. I will say that I have been here now for 3 years, and I am supposed to really know the curriculum and really know everyone's programs, but I swear every single one of these I learn more. So you're teaching me, and hopefully you're teaching our students too, of all the opportunities that they have. So thank you very much. For any students out there, if you missed anything, these are being recorded and they're posted on our website, so you can certainly revisit them, share them with your friends if you feel like this is something they would benefit from. Our next one will be on November 12th, so if you are looking for some more information, definitely look for that invitation coming via email. But other than that, go vote and have a great rest of your semester. Good luck on any midterms or projects or anything that you have happening right now. And we are all here to help. As you might have noticed, I did put my email in the chat. Feel free to reach out to me at any time if you do have questions. Thank you all very much.